Sir, this is Cadet Spees, and this is my Paragraph 1 brief for Operation Bobcat Lightning. So I am a part of 1st Platoon Charger Company 1-5 Infantry, and I am the 1st Squad leader. With me, I have two 249s, as well as an attached gun team from Weapons Squad, which brings with it a 240. I'm also functioning alongside 2nd and 3rd Squad. My goal is to destroy the enemy in the vicinity of Objective Phantom to disrupt enemy operations. In orientation to the AO, our main AO will be AO Ronin. Our sister platoons will take up AO No Slack and AO Amarak. The main objective we will focus on is Objective Phantom, where there is a mortar team in place for my squad to destroy. A little more in depth. So, there is a potential for enemy CAS to be in the vicinity. However, this attack helicopter platoon is only triggered by battalion level or higher assets, and as such is unlikely to affect my squad level operation. There's also a battery of PL-66 152mm howitzers. These have a 10-minute response time and are firing from multiple POOs in the vicinity of Taitung Airport. These will fire on the identification of a U.S. squad-sized or larger element, and as such pose a threat to this operation. In addition, the enemy has a motorized platoon acting as reinforcements. These have a 40-minute reaction time to AO Ronin and will react if any U.S. forces are found to be encroaching too far in the coastal regions. This also poses a threat to our operation. And finally, the enemy has multiple ADACE assets in the vicinity of Taitung Airport, which poses a threat to any further air assault operations and limits the ability for us to call in close air support. So looking at the terrain, as you can see, it's relatively restricted and very mountainous. Our objective Phantom, is mostly unaffected with one LDA crossing. However, there is the potential to be canalized by restricted terrain upon entering the valley that Objective Phantom is in. This is one threat which should be avoided if possible, given the enemy's surplus of special weapons. So looking more to the terrain, there is, as previously mentioned, mountains which represent a massive amount of restrictive terrain. However, these mountains are more debilitating to the enemy than our squad, giving the enemy's mechanized danger. There are multiple routes, most notably Route Camaro, that represent high-speed avenues of approach for the enemy, given their mechanized and mounted nature. This gives them a marked advantage. There's also bridges, which give us the opportunity to canalize these enemy-mounted units. However, it does give them more freedom of maneuver to cross rivers. The goal is to be able to use this canalization to successfully avoid enemy elements whenever possible, and use this to provide an advantage to our operation. Going into the weather for the week is relatively poor. There's going to be rain, there's going to be high humidity, there's likely going to be cloud cover, and additionally there will be medium to high winds. This all works to our advantage, and this will help conceal our approach on our deliberate attacks and help us get the drop on enemy forces without them being to call in that previously mentioned close air support, indirect fire, or other reinforcement assets before we actually launch any of our assaults. So looking at the standard enemy platoon in this AO, it consists of 3 motorized squads. Each of these squads creates more special weapons than we do and comes with a light utility vehicle, which equips a 50 cal equivalent weapon. Their most dangerous weapon system is their PP-87. This is an artillery asset that the enemy has in the AO. Okay, looking back, here is an overview of the larger level enemy situation. This platoon is our main concern here. You can see how it occupies the area that we wish to hit on objective Phantom. Additionally, there is the threat of a screening squad being in here. However, it's likely that this squad will not be able to successfully cover the entire area that it is shown as screening, and hopefully our goal of avoiding them will be successful. Looking more at the squad level composition of the enemy, they consist of two teams. One's led by a squad leader, the other by the assistant squad leader. These teams, as previously mentioned, bring more special weapons than an equivalent U.S. force. They have light machine guns, sniper rifles, a pair of automatic long-range grenade launchers. In addition, they bring anti-tank missiles and their previously mentioned tactical utility vehicle with its 50 cal equivalent weapon. The main threat of these teams is the fact that they're mounted and they can move faster than our dismounted teams, and their prevalence of special weapons. Taking a closer look on affliction level analysis of the enemy, we have the previously mentioned screening squad. However, our main concern is this squad that is currently controlling this region here. It's close enough to our target of objective Phantom that it could interdict any of our efforts to assault the mortar team, and in the case that we successfully assault the mortar team, it could intervene and counterattack our unit using its high maneuverability given to it by its utility vehicle. At the team level, the mortar team brings with it 2 riflemen, a light machine gun, and a medium mortar. The light machine gun and the medium mortar are the main threats to us. However, that medium mortar represents both a high value target, one we want to destroy for our mission, as well as a high payoff target, one that will successfully benefit any other mission being conducted in this AO, making it a worthwhile target for our operation. So looking at the enemy sit temp, as you can see, their weapons range the vast majority, including the squad here's weapons being able to cover the objective. However, given the dense foliage, it's unlikely that they'll actually be able to shoot us without first moving in close. It's also likely that the enemy mortar team will be somewhat out in the open to avoid having their rounds impact early on tree branches granted by overhead cover. Alright, looking at enemy capabilities, their mortar team is likely to be on foot, but they also have previously mentioned mounted squads around them. Obviously, they have easy access to fires given we are attacking a mortar emplacement. Additionally, there are, as I said, attack helicopters and enemy howitzers that can all be raining death upon us. On the bright side, the enemy is unlikely to have highly entrenched positions. Anything they have will be hastily entrenched, given the mobile nature of their forces and the lack of construction equipment or any previously mentioned surveillance. Their goal is to stop us from progressing south towards Taitung, and they're going to accomplish this by setting up a defense in depth. Their main goal is to maintain the firing positions of their IDF, be that their howitzers or in this case their mortar, because it allows the disruption of U.S. force movements throughout the entire AO. Their goal is to control the civilian centers, pacify the civilians without violence, disrupt and fix us within AO Ronin, and organize a defense in depth. Our job, on the other hand, is to disrupt these opportunities and give the rest of the battalion the chance to reorganize for further offensive operations. We want to deny uncontested use of avenues approach, retain our maximum combat power, avoid our decisive engagements, and reconsolidate 2nd and 3rd platoon for further follow-on operations. Our end state, we want them disrupted. We want our friendly elements dispersed and consolidated, minimize civilian casualties, and win AO Ronin. AO Ronin here. Our goal of destroying Objective Phantom will help accomplish this mission. And thankfully for us, there are little civilian concerns beyond trying to avoid any civilian casualties, given the lack of population centers on this side of the river. With that, this concludes the brief, pending any questions.